Hello everyone, so I thought I'd take a look here at the most recent satellite imagery shared from Iran. This first lot of imagery is from Isfahan Airbase after US and Israeli airstrikes. On screen now is the zoomed out image, at the top the before and at the bottom the aftermath. So you can see that this airbase was hit very hard. Most sources are saying that it was Israel that hit this one, although a few are saying that it was America. Maybe it was a bit of both. Here's the image showing the destruction on its own, so you can see the damage a little bit clearer and easier to see here. Now, some fortunate news from this one, as this was the first confirmed destruction of F-14 Tomcats here, shown here. Two Tomcats in the before, and then the aftermath shows both of them destroyed. One of them completely destroyed. The other one is at least still recognisable as once being an F-14. Quite sad to see this one because the F-14 is a bit of a legend, so it's a shame to see them having such an unhappy ending here. In between the F-14s, you can also see a small propeller aircraft was also destroyed. This isn't highlighted by the uploader, but it's a Beechcraft Bonanza trainer aircraft, I believe, so not as important, but still worth mentioning. Here, the same part of the base was zoomed out slightly, and this shows that just above the F-14 Tomcats, 3 more fighter jets are destroyed. 2 of them are here in the before, one of them arrived afterwards. These are Chengdu J-7 fighters, which are Chinese-built versions of the MiG-21. I'm going to have a look at the aircraft types and the numbers later on, after we've seen all of the satellite imagery from this airbase. So far, 3 confirmed destroyed here. On this image, 3 more aircraft confirmed destroyed, and these are again J-7s. And as you can see, these ones took direct hits. These are very accurate airstrikes here. It's very impressive to see. And here, a pair of what look to be the same aircraft type, J-7s, both of them destroyed on the aftermath imagery. And finally, one more of the J-7 aircraft type seen destroyed in this image. So our tally from this airbase so far is 2 F-14s, 9 Chengdu J-7 fighter jets, and 1 Beechcraft Bonanza trainer aircraft. 12 aircraft confirmed destroyed at one airbase in total. Final image from Isfahan Airbase is this. So this shows a warehouse of some type completely destroyed. Not sure what purpose this warehouse served. Storage of some sort is my best guess here. Maybe for maintenance or repair, given its close proximity to the aircraft hangars. Then we have 4 aircraft hangars, 3 of which have taken direct hits from a missile or bomb in the roof, so penetrating the bunker here and detonating inside. No mention as to what, if anything, was inside at the time. If an aircraft was in here, though, it is more than likely destroyed. Surprisingly, the final hangar seems to have actually survived here. I'm surprised Israel or America let this one stay. Going back to the view here, you can see that these strikes here were just targeting the aircraft. No hits to crater the taxiways. Of course, this imagery just shows the aircraft area. It is possible that the runway was cratered too to stop the aircraft from taking off. In the past imagery we've looked at, such as this example image from Hamadan Airbase, you can see that the runways and the taxiways were hit hard early on in order to prevent the Iranian Air Force aircraft from taking off or moving. That doesn't seem to be the case here. This just seems to have targeted the aircraft directly. Maybe that's because of different tactics by America and Israel. Israel targeting purely the fighter jets, America hoping to put the airbase offline, creating the runways and that sort of thing, and leaving the aircraft as sitting ducks in order to just pick the aircraft off at a later date. Here's a quick Google map view of Isfahan Airbase. This is the 8th Tactical Fighter Base and home to the 81st, 82nd, and 83rd Tactical Fighter Squadrons. Now, there are certainly more jets destroyed here, because the imagery we've looked at so far only covers this squared section here, so there's large parts of this base which hasn't been covered yet, so I'll do an update if we get any more. Commercial satellite imagery is quite expensive, so the uploader of source fee has only got a small section of a base, but it does confirm that this airbase did take a bit of a rogering, and indeed further destruction is sort of confirmed with this very low quality satellite imagery here, which was also shared today. This shows the same airbase, on screen now as before, with arrows showing the key areas to look at, and here the aftermath. So there were certainly other areas hit, beyond the zoomed in imagery which we've just looked at. Highlighted in red are the key areas hit here. So this looks to me like there could be at least 3, possibly more destroyed aircraft, as these strikes highlighted are on the taxiways and the aircraft parking area. Hopefully we'll get additional satellite imagery from here to confirm what may have actually been hit, but certainly it's looking like over a dozen different aircraft were hit in this strike. And here you can see the airbases south of Tehran. Now let's go through the aircraft types destroyed, then we'll check out more satellite imagery. First up, we'll begin with the legendary F-14. In 2018, Iran had 40 of these remaining, but 5 were destroyed in 2025, so we have 35 in service at the start of the war. The F-14 fleet is based entirely at Isfahan Airbase, so it is possible that some of the others were destroyed here as well. Maybe some of the aircraft hit, which we didn't have zoomed in imagery of, or in some of the hangars hit. The F-14 entered service in the 70s, and Iran is the only operator left. This aircraft, of course, famous for being in Top Gun. And here, a photo of a J-7. So these are basically Chinese-built variants of the Russian MiG-21. Iran had 24 of these in service, and we saw 9 destroyed here, so close to half of the J-7 fleet destroyed in one strike, it seems. And finally, just to finish off, the Beechcraft Bonanza trainer aircraft is this, a light trainer aircraft. Iran had 28 of these in service, with 1 confirmed destroyed here. Our next imagery is moving away from air bases to missile bases, starting with the Khorgu missile base. This imagery is from February the 20th, and the aftermath from March the 9th. You can see that this is a fairly large complex, presumably, as well as the above-ground infrastructure. This also features underground bunkers and underground storage facilities as well, in addition to the above-ground stuff visible on the satellite imagery. And here's the aftermath. So you can see that this base was hit very hard, with all of the important buildings completely destroyed by airstrikes. This is maybe seen better side by side like this. So 4 structures seen destroyed here. Again, very accurate strikes. Additionally, if we zoom into a section, you can see signs of debris at least 2 of the bunker entrances, and the impact mark in yellow. I can't tell for certain, but I'm guessing this may have hit here and penetrated underground to hit the bunker itself. That's how I'm seeing this imagery anyway. I may be wrong, of course. This base is in Hormazgan province, near Bandar Abbas, in the area shown. Another missile base here, the Kerman ballistic missile base, on screen now as before. This is taken on February 14, and here, the aftermath. So, not as extensively damaged as the other missile base we looked at. The large building has taken a pounding with bits of debris scattered around. Debris usually seems to be drawn to Russian oil refineries like moths to a flame, so we may see this debris appear again. This damage is much less extensive as you can see. The large building is largely standing but damaged. There's one burnt out warehouse. I wonder if a missile launcher was inside at the time given how badly that warehouse is destroyed. Then, another warehouse slightly damaged. The other buildings remain standing. Given the overall lack of damage here, I'm wondering if this may have been targeted by American attack drones instead of missiles. America did say in a statement, I believe, or it was a news report which said, that America's own version of the Shahed drone, the FLM-136 Lucas, had been used in Iran. So if this base was hit by missiles, I think the damage would be much more severe. So I think it may have been the Lucas attack drones or similar which hit this missile base. This is here zoomed out and shown on Google Maps. The final missile base here before we move on, this is the Darab missile base. Now, the building on the left looks very interesting because it seems like there's a sort of railway, for lack of a better word, leading from it. I'd guess this is the entrance to the bunker here, and the railway is used for delivering supplies inside the base, or the missiles are sent out of the base on rails here to then be loaded onto the mobile launchers which Iran uses. And here's the aftermath of this one. So surprisingly, the building with what appeared to be a railway running from it has survived. Admittedly though, on this image, it does look much less like a railway than I first thought, so I guess the first image just looked a bit more misleading. But the main building here certainly took a direct hit, with a visible hole seen in its roof after a missile strike. As mentioned, this is a ballistic missile base, but I'm not sure the purpose of this building. This is just one section of base, so likely other areas were hit as well. And this is the location of this base here, as shown on Google Maps, zoomed out. Now, there are of course many more missile bases in Iran that have been hit, but so far, satellite imagery isn't available to show their destruction, or I have already covered them in past videos. Now, we're going to finish off this video with Iran's own counter-strikes against America. These images aren't very clear, but they show Al Salem Airbase in Kuwait, which is a base used by America, one of America's biggest bases in the region. Highlighted are the key areas to look at here. So this is jet fuel bladders, you can see. The first image is from 28th of February, and here, the 5th of March, so early on in the war, showing a few of them were destroyed by Iran quite early on. And finally, imagery shared yesterday, showing now that 9 of the 10 fuel bladders at the airbase have since been destroyed. So this is a good strike by Iran, and it shows that the war isn't showing any signs of stopping just yet, and that Iran is still firing back at American bases. It also shows that despite the intensity of American and Iranian strikes, Iran does still have drones and missiles in order to strike back against America. And they are having some success. Minor success compared to losing over a dozen aircraft at one base as we saw earlier. But still, Iranian drones and missiles are getting through and are hitting targets. Here's a nice zoomed in image showing the destruction. So you can see just one fuel bladder here is remaining. Now, I assume the base also has other fuel reserves elsewhere, rather than just relying on these 10 fuel bladders, as these seem a bit of a sitting duck. But still, you can see Iran's tactic here. Take out the fuel and try and ground America's aircraft. This airbase is here located on Google Maps in Kuwait. Finally, Al Airbase. A drone or rocket hit a storage building of some sort in the airbase and destroyed it. This image was shared yesterday, so it's presumably a very recent strike. This looks like it is in the middle of a radar area, so this may have been a command center or similar for the radars, but that's just speculation. And this is here in Qatar. So that's it for satellite imagery. I hope you enjoyed seeing it. The biggest takeaway here is, of course, the first confirmed destruction of the F-14 Tomcat in the war, with 2 of them confirmed destroyed. Presumably more, given the base which was hit is Iran's main F-14 base. If you found the video interesting, please click like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Big thanks to everybody who's watched the video. Thanks so much, and take care, everybody.